All right, we're welcome to join Miles Bally with us on the Attack the Rack, former player of ours from Granville High School, who now makes his home down in Nashville. Um, Miles, glad to have you, man.
Yeah, I'm super excited to be doing this with you guys. I've had a busy day, so I've been looking forward to this and appreciate you guys having me on. I'm a big fan of your stuff here.
Well, we appreciate it. I got to add, so this is kind of crazy because I was just thinking about this on my drive over. Um, Two former players of mine have gotten into music that I really didn't know as players were into the music, and whether you picked that up later or not. But um, you're probably really the first player we've had back on, Kurt,
Yeah,
of ours. So
let's
even though you're
go.
probably one of the younger ones, you're
Yeah,
definitely the first ex player of ours that we've had on the Attack the Rack. So we are excited to just kind of chat with you about what got you into everything that you're doing and following your dreams and goals. And it should be a good conversation.
yeah, for sure. For sure. You want me to just kind of go into that right now?
Well, hey, from talking to you, before we got started here, Miles, you had mentioned, busy day. I think one question I have is like, what is, and we should mention too, Miles is a country music aspiring artist, having a lot of success early on in his career, which is what we're going to talk about today. But again, you talked about having a busy day. One thing I've been curious to know is kind of like what your days look like. And you had quite an interesting day leading into the interview here tonight, and then leading into tomorrow. So why don't you start with tell us about your day?
Yeah, I guess that's good. That's a loaded question. This is good. You're good at what you do. No, so today was like a little bit out of the norm for me, just in terms of everything I did. But I got up around 10 something, kind of got moving. And I had a gig downtown Nashville, just off Broadway. There's this bar I play, kind of my main bar that I'm playing at right now, a little venue called Big Jimmy's. It's like a little burger joint. And they do live music in the window and just a small like divey bar down there, and I love it. But I started my day there, played from 12 to 3, and then snagged me a Jimmy John's sandwich, number 9. I think it's the Italian nightclub. That's my choice. If
The
anybody,
go-to.
yeah, that's the go-to for me. And then yeah, picked up some food and kind of hauled ass, quite honestly, to the studio out in Mount Juliet is where it is. It's like a neighboring surrounding city. Not too far out. I mean, it's probably a little, 30 minute car ride. So I got out of there after my show and was in the studio at about 4 o'clock working on this big new project. It's going to be my debut album. I'm super excited about it. But yeah, so then that's just been crazy. So I was at the studio from about 4 till, I don't know, coach, when I text you when I got home, probably like 8:15, something, 4.5 hours I was there. And then got home and now I just packed up for Phoenix. I leave in the morning really early for to play some shows out west and stoked about that. But yeah, that's kind of my day right now. To answer the back half of that question is
Yeah.
3 hour sets, probably 4 to 5 times a week right now is my pretty natural schedule.
What so obviously we chat a little bit on text there, Miles. Obviously, so I thought you were kind of like practicing, but you had a true gig from like a 3 hour gig that you were actually playing live. Let's get it going.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so that was this morning, I guess, 12 to 3. I was telling coach before we all hopped on this too, but it's just crazy down here. I mean, it was a Thursday, middle of the week, 12 to 3. You think that's kind of like a throwaway slot, and that bar was full 20 minutes after I started. It's just
Nice.
crazy down here. Every day's a Saturday. Wild.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Uh,
So I guess the first question is like was this something like the music stuff, was that something that was always in the back of the back of your mind, something you wanted to get into? Because I guess I'll say as like your head coach,
Yeah.
maybe I didn't do a good. I didn't know you even like were like maybe playing music or into music. So give us a little background there.
Yeah, so that's kind of funny you asked that because this is all kind of later on. I was in the normal like symphonic winds band and did percussion, played the drums, and then I played in jazz too throughout all 4 years of high school. I love jazz band. I was always a drummer, but I never sang. I never played guitar. I didn't honestly still trying to become comfortable singing in front of people. That's kind of been we can get into that a little later, but so I had some I had some music knowledge. I was musically inclined. I played the drums. I knew how to like read a little bit of music. Um, and yeah, I don't know. I started playing the guitar during COVID. So we graduated in 2020, me and my class, which you guys all know, you both know very well, at least from the hoops players and some of the athletes. So we didn't get our senior year of baseball. And so with all that downtime in Michigan being a lockdown state, quarantine, my dad was like, "Hey, I got an old wedding gift." You know, it's a guitar. I never learned how to play it. Kind of like a stop bugging me type thing because we're in the
Yeah.
same house all the time.
Here's something to do. Here's something.
Yeah.
Here's something else to do, man.
So I did. I stopped bothering my dad and went up into my mom and dad's closet way in the back. You know, like a movie scene. I had to like dust it off. It's just an old guitar. I brought it to the basement and I hopped on YouTube and I just kind of self-taught myself the guitar. And then from there, to kind of answer this question a little better, I started playing Eric Church songs really because Zach Summers, my best friend, he loves Eric Church. So he'd be like, learn this, learn that, learn this, learn that. And I would just learn these songs on YouTube. And eventually I started writing my own. And then all my happy college buddies were like, you got to move to Nashville. So it really was not a plan for me. But I think, you know, that sometimes in life, that's where the best things come to be. They're just organic and they're just, you know, out of the blue kind of.
Oh, what was it that, I mean, you just mentioned Zach encouraging you to play his favorite artist, but outside of that, or was that what drew you kind of to migrate towards making and playing country music?
Yeah, that was kind of it. You know, I think when people think acoustic guitar, they hear a lot of that country background anyway. It's not like I'm going to pick up an acoustic guitar and just start shredding AC/DC or Motley Crue or something, you know.
Yeah.
But but yeah, so just kind of, I guess by habit, it was like, oh, acoustic guitar, what are the top 10 campfire acoustic guitar songs to learn? And it's all these country songs, old country, new country. And so yeah, kind of just by the nature of the beast, it became a thing. Because I wasn't into country music. Zach was. He'll be the first to tell you. I used to rip him for that. I was listening to Drake and Kanye and all this garbage. Like, it's not garbage. I don't want to say that. I don't wanna,
Easy now. Easy now.
yeah.
We got a big crowd. We got a big crowd listening here. Be
I know.
careful.
Hey, listen, I love that stuff. I still love it. When the Lions come on, you know, it's all Eminem, it's Big Sean, it's all that good stuff. Time and a place, but yeah, you're not gonna catch me trying to hop on an LP and start making raps or anything. But yeah, just kind of the way it is with the acoustic guitar. So then from there, you know, got into country, and then when I started kind of messing around trying to make my own songs, it just came out that way, country-ish.
Yeah. So I think that brings us to the next point is for you, what is the process? Look, you've got some of your own music, obviously. What's that process look like for you to kind of create your own song?
Yeah. So honestly, Coach Klingler, it's poetry. It's poetry. That's what it is. I'll open the Notes app on my iPhone, and I'll just write a poem, and I'll put the melody and I'll find a chord progression afterwards. But you know, if I'm writing heartbreak, I'm going into it. I'm getting detail. I'm trying to make the song. You feel it more than you just hear words that rhyme. And so it could be anything. I mean, I'll be sitting at these writers' rounds watching other musicians down here in Nashville and get inspired, or like I'll wake up from a dream and I'll have this big epiphany and I'll be like, I got to write that down and throw that in a song, or just everyday life.
Really more you're putting the words down first, and then you're going to find the melody and the connection later on.
Absolutely.
And then also, so it's not more like you're like, all right, it's time for me to write a song, and then you sit down and write it. It's just kind of as it hits you.
Yeah, absolutely. That's so funny you say that too, because some people down here, they're just workhorses and this is their job and they're full-time writers. Like, I don't know if you guys knew this, but Chris Stapleton, I'm sure you know some of his stuff. You know, he has an amazing voice, but he wrote for the longest time. Like, he's written songs that you would know for other people for
Okay.
the last, decades. And then he got into singing, but like some people, they can just be like, hey, like they'll hit me up and be like, hey, you want to do a co-write at 10 at night on Friday? I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to be inspired at 10 p.m. on Friday. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
it
yeah.
doesn't work for, then they'll sit down and just be like, yeah, I'm feeling good
They
tonight.
got it. Yeah.
The whole song. I can't do that. So,
What's before we got on sometime today, I watched your one day video. I mean, probably a lot of people's dream maybe is to either be in a video or like coordinate a video. So what's that process look like? Even just doing a video shoot like that?
that was funny because the inside scoop, I hate that song now because, the reason I've left it up, I've pulled a lot of projects off Spotify and Apple Music and YouTube throughout the years of growth. But that was my first ever song. I recorded it at Michigan State University. And I think it really, when you listen to something now like Forever and Always or Middle of Nowhere, Money on You, something like that, you can really see the growth. And I think that's why I've left that up there. But the video is cool. So I don't know when we posted that, but that was some of Trent's college roommates were into videography, and that's what
Yeah.
they're
Because
doing.
that was more up north where you shot it, or was it in
We
the
shot,
Lansing area?
we shot that music video in Hemlock, Michigan, kind of near Saginaw.
Okay.
So that was cool, but I'd love to get into some more of that because music videos are sweet. They feel kind of awkward because the way that works is like they'll put the song on a speaker and there's like people driving by and walking by and you're like lip syncing and you just feel like you feel really weird and then you look back at these like slow-mo shots and the B-roll and it all comes together and it's like that's pretty cool. So I would love to do another one of those, but I love making the music videos. I love watching them. I don't like making them. So
I did always kind of wonder how that all works. Like with are they lips? I mean, are they lip syncing or are they singing? And then afterwards, you got to go back and try to match as your mouth is moving to the track. I mean, I'm sure it's, quite a process behind the scenes afterwards with the editing and stuff.
yeah, that's got to be tedious, right? I mean, that's not my thing, but you could ask George Benjamin. He'll tell you.
Hey, so it's kind of funny you mentioned you used to get on Zach about being a country music fan. I think I'm not really a country music fan, and Coach Klingler kind of was, and kind of the same thing. I would kind of give him a tough time about being into the country music. So that kind of a similar situation there. But I will say this. I was telling you before we got on here about, I think it was probably now, it's been about, probably, wow, it's probably been about 14 years ago. I actually did spend a couple of days in Nashville. I was down there. My cousin was playing in the Houston Astros minor league system, and they played against the Nashville Sounds, which is like an iconic minor league team. But anyway, so we were down there for a couple of days, and I had the best time, even, I mean, like you just walk down the street, it's bar after bar after bar, live band, live band, live band. So I guess I'd be curious. You already mentioned today playing from 12 to 3 in the middle of the day on a Thursday, how the energy was, but overall, tell us a little bit more about what the energy is like there in Nashville and maybe what brought you to Nashville? Is it just because that's like where you want to be if you're doing country music, and then, what's the energy like in that town?
Yeah, that's a good question. Music City is super fun, right? That's what everybody's known for, is the country music capital of the world. You got the Country Music Hall of Fame, Johnny Cash Museum, the Ryman, the Grand Ole Opry. There's not a short of anything music out here, just like really for all genres. But
Okay.
There's just so many talented musicians. To your point of bar after bar after bar, every venue, like people are just numb to it out here because everybody you see is just so talented. I think that's been good for me because I've only been playing and guitar and singing for 4 years now. So like I'm so new to it. Everybody I see, I'm like talking to them after gigs, picking their brain, trying to, how do you do this? How do you get better at this? And it's just a really special place. If I wasn't a musician, I don't know how much I'd want to live out here because I do miss like lakes and cottages and being surrounded by water
Sure.
and um, all that. But yeah, it's a great, just a great place to be for the music. And then yeah, if you're gonna vacation here, weekends probably plenty. Uh, it's a fun
Just
city.
enough, right? A couple days.
Yeah, a couple days is probably plenty. But if you're out here, come see me.
Big Mo, we should definitely try to do that next spring.
That would be.
We should do that.
I've been to Nashville once, but I didn't stay downtown because I think I was just traveling through. Spent the night and then took off right away. So yeah, we should try to hook that up next spring, next summer.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Maybe around March Madness.
Oh,
Dude, yeah. So the SEC tournament is right there at Bridgestone, right downtown.
Yeah.
And so
There we go.
everybody comes in. You got to know everybody's fight song. You got to at least, get them going with it a cappella because in comes, everybody. Alabama, Ole Miss, Tennessee.
Well, you got to get the crowd on your side, right? You got to know who you're playing for, right?
And during that time of year, it's tough because everybody's a fan of everybody,
Hey, so this is probably a two-part question, a little bit. Obviously, you've been back into the Grand Rapids at least once playing in the Granville area. How was that?
That was awesome. I want to just do this justice. I'm just going to tell you guys what people told me because I was up there. I was on stage for 3 hours. But I played at Ironwood Bar and Grill, kind of Standale area. It was awesome. I'd probably promoted it for like a month. I was like, it's just an acoustic set, no full band, nothing crazy. And when I walked in the door, I was like an hour and a half early, like just trying to make sure I get the lay of the land. And the place was already full. I'm seeing people that are wearing my face on their shirt, and I'm like, I don't even know who that is. It was an awesome experience, but it was kind of like sink or swim time. I was thrown into the fire. I was like, oh, I'll have a chance to like calm these nerves and get ready to just treat it like a normal gig, but it's just not when you're in your hometown,
Yeah.
And so to answer that, I mean, I heard, there was a waitress that night who ended up quitting on the job because we were a couple hundred people over capacity. I do know this for a fact that the bar did run out of beer. We ran out of Miller Lite, which was crazy. But like I said, don't fact check me on all this. This is what I've heard from everyone else. But it was an awesome night. Just
all in all, your people came out and supported the smack out of you, which is amazing, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So to lead into that, I guess then the next part is obviously you're going to be back in Granville. Get to play a little bit at the Granville High School homecoming pregame festivities before the football game. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so that's kind of fun too, like just kind of a fun opportunity that got thrown my way. And I'm super excited about it. It's always fun coming home because you get to play in front of familiar faces rather than, everybody down here at every show is a tourist. Like even today, I was asking people, where are you from? Oh, Southern California. Where are you from? England. You got people from all over the country and all over the world. So just to be able to play in front of familiar faces is always fun. And Trent, my brother, is going to be playing the bass guitar. And Colton, my drummer, he's going to be flying in. But we're only going to have probably like 2-3 hours of rehearsal time on like Friday. So it's
plenty of time for professionals like you guys.
Yeah. It's going to be a little thrown together, but we're super excited, and I don't think it'll be anything short of a good time.
Yeah, definitely.
Where, like, if for people that want to come, that are coming to the game, or they want to come and watch you play there, where and what time will you be playing?
Yeah, so I will be playing kind of outside the library, like in that grassy area. We're going to be setting up a little stage there, and that's going to start around 4:30. I'll be going on around 4:30. I'll probably be there earlier than that to be doing sound check and stuff. So
Okay.
if you want to come early and you want to hang out or something, I'll be there. But I'll be there around,
Hey,
4-ish.
we're there. He's out there.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, Miles, can't thank you enough for taking some time out of your busy schedule to hang out with us old coaches here and fill us on what's going on in your life. And sounds amazing. Been following from afar. Huge congratulations to you on all your success, and you're sounds like you're well on your way to making a nice career out of this. But before we let you go, one thing that, as we call him on the program here, Big Mo and I do throughout our podcast, we have a couple, 2-3 segments. One of those segments being our top 3, our favorite 3. And this week, and being that we have you on the program here, we'd love for you to join us in this. We know you're a huge Detroit Lions fan. Not such a great game on Sunday. Started out the season here 1-1 with playing Arizona this week, which will be a tough game. But our top 3 this week is our top 3, and I guess more so favorite 3. So when you hear top 3, maybe you think the best 3, but we want to go favorite 3 Detroit Lions of all time. We'll start with you. We'll go one at a time until we've each given our 3 favorite Detroit Lions. Miles, you are up first.
Ever of all time?
Of all time.
All time, baby.
I think.
Hold on. One rule. One rule. Barry Sanders excluded. We can't say Barry Sanders. It's got to be other than Barry Sanders.
I was gonna say timeout because all 3 of us are. Right. I'm gonna say that.
I thought we were gonna give Miles the Barry Sanders. Okay, you can take the top dog, but okay, I like that we're pulled it away from him.
No,
yeah. That's too obvious.
You can pull that away from me. Number 1, I'm just gonna get this out of the way, and I don't like this pick necessarily anymore. But my childhood hero, I got to go with Matthew Stafford.
Fair enough.
I'll say that's 3. I'll put that at 3.
That's good. Hey, he had amazing career in Detroit, and most Detroiters are probably glad he got a chance to win the Super Bowl, right? So, do I get to go next, Kurt?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, probably. I don't know, Miles. Before your time, maybe. Chris Spielman, linebacker from that school down south a little bit, but we still love him, Chris Spielman.
Yeah, good one. I think maybe all of ours might be a little, or at least mine might be a little before your time, Miles. I'm going to go my first one, wide receiver Herman Moore, one of my definite favorite players of all time, and certainly favorite Detroit Lion of all time.
Those are both great picks. I know they're ahead of my time, but you guys know the Bally boys. We're all just diehards. I know everything about the history. I've rolled it. So for 2, if we're all going old school, I'll take Lomas Brown, little tackle.
Oh,
nice.
The reason I say that too, if you guys watched that Bye Bye Barry documentary,
yes,
awesome. It was awesome. Gave us some closure. Obviously, that's funny probably to hear me say at 23 that it's like, oh, he got closure. But Barry kind of talked about that too. Like he loved running behind Lomas, and I think that's cool. So. And he's still really affiliated with the team now, so I love that.
Right. Yeah, he is.
I like it. Good pick.
That's a good one.
I'm going Mel Gray, specialist kick returner, / I think he was like a car salesman or something like that. I forget he did some type of commercial with a car salesman. I always stuck in my head. So Mel Gray, amazing kick returner, punt returner for the Lions.
That's a good one, too. It seemed like he brought one back for a touchdown almost every game. Obviously, he didn't, but that's what it seemed like.
It did feel like that.
All right, I'll go. I'm going to go Jerry Ball, who was, I think, a nose tackle. One thing I loved about him, and Miles, this video game is before your time, too. There's a video game called Tecmo Super Bowl. In my opinion, the greatest video game ever created. Definitely the best sports game ever created. And with Jerry Ball, you could almost get a sack, at least against when you're playing the computer, every time. You just got to hit down and A, and you just got to slide.
You got to get the angle right. You had to get the angle right.
Yes.
But if you timed it right, it was like 10 sacks a game. Easy for the big dog.
Yes. So Aiden Hutchinson on Sunday had what, 4.5 or 5 sacks, something like that. You can do that in a quarter with Jerry Ball on Tecmo Bowl. So Jerry Ball, that's my second one.
Okay. All right. So this is important here because I know you guys still have one last one after me. And I don't want to be the three guys here talking sports that fade Billy Sims because he's the forgotten running back number 20.
Yeah.
Like so much of me, we're all naming these fun B-listers too. Like I've got those like there's a million guys I could say. Plus like St. Brown and Laporta, like right now, Hutchinson, Kirby Joseph. I obviously love this team. But I think I gotta say Billy Sims because we can't leave him off this list. He's the second best Lions running back ever.
Yeah.
That's a good one. I'm gonna throw out new school because we've talked about it. And me and Kurt had a little discussion earlier. I don't think the name came up, but Aiden Hutchinson.
Yeah.
Like that dude is a beast.
Yeah.
And if he was in a Temple Bowl, he'd be having like 20 sacks a game.
Yeah, dude.
Come on now.
Modern day Tecmo Bowl.
To be fair, part of the reason you could get all those sacks with Jerry Ball is because he was playing the nose tackle.
True. But yeah, you can always slide him down. Yeah. Adjust the lineup, Kurt. You got to adjust the lineup. I got a special throw out here. I know Kurt's not going to pick this guy.
Yeah.
Charlie Sanders. Just happened to meet him a couple times and became a friend of an organization that I help run. I'm going to put him just a little special shout out to him. No longer with us, but amazing individual, super awesome, nice guy, and was willing to do whatever to help out these different nonprofits that he worked with. So shout out to Charlie Sanders, a special Lions. Kurt, last one.
Yeah, and I did, Miles, I agree with you. I love this team we've got right now. I love a ton of the players, but I think some of them are a little bit too new, and so I wanted to pick players maybe that had more of a longer career. Like right now, Jahmyr Gibbs is like my favorite current player. But obviously Aiden Hutchinson too. So I'm gonna go Benny Blades, who I just was talking to Big Mo about Benny Blades earlier today. And what I learned, I never played football. I love football. I love watching football. Probably my favorite sport to watch. 28 years in the same fantasy football league. Just it's my thing. I love it. But I really don't know and never really necessarily learned all the X's and O's and things like that. I learned today. So I knew Benny Blades played safety. And Big Mo today, we were talking about this, referred to him as a defensive back. I've always thought until today that cornerbacks and defensive backs, that was an interchangeable term, that they were the same position. What I learned today is that defensive backs actually is more of an umbrella term for the corners and the safeties. So
nice. You learn something new every day.
You do. Right? I never.
If you're not learning, you're not growing, man.
Exactly.
And we gotta say we have to just do this honorable mention to save my butt for when all my friends watch this or whatever, because none of us said Calvin Johnson. Obviously, that's a big one.
That is.
We didn't say Calvin. We didn't say Golden Tate, Reggie Bush, any of these guys from the more recent time.
For sure.
Trent loved Joik Bell. He had a jersey when he was playing. You guys remember that name?
Yeah. Didn't he play? Was Joik Bell a D2? Did he play Wayne State maybe? Or no?
I think he did.
I think you're right.
I know for sure he was a security guard at Ford Field
before he played.
Yeah. Crazy.
Oh, that's awesome.
I gotta throw an honorable mention. This is probably might be before Miles' time, and it's an old school again. Me and Kurt are old, Miles. We're way back. Robert Porcher.
Oh, yes.
Woo! He was like Aiden Hutchins before Aiden Hutchins.
Yeah. And then here, I'll throw out an old school honorable mention too, Brett Perriman.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, think about how good. I mean, wasn't
Give
I
him the
mean,
U. Give him the U, baby.
yeah, you had Herman Moore, Brett Perryman, Johnny Morton, Barry Sanders. Oh, if they would have had Matthew Stafford or Jared Goff as a quarterback, holy cats.
And who was the quarterback at that time? That's the real question.
Well, I mean, Rodney Pete for the most part, and then
Ooh, maybe a little Scotty. Maybe a little Scotty Mitchell.
yeah, then Scott Mitchell, yeah.
Listen, this is funny. You guys are talking about this quarterbacks in specific because it was a revolving door, right? We had all these guys throughout the years. Early 2000s here, I had his jersey. I found this at this little sports shop. This is a Joey Harrington.
Woo!
Little piece of memorabilia, little Joey Blue Skies.
Man. Disappointed all of us. Disappointed all of us.
Hey, great guy, though. Great human
nice
being.
guy. Nice guy.
Great human being.
You probably missed so many. I'm just thinking in my head right now. I'm just like,
there are a ton. There are a ton.
Oh, Charlie Batch. Yeah. And then think about guys like Dante Culpepper literally played for the Detroit Lions for a minute.
So did Adrian Peterson.
Adrian Peterson, yeah, that's right.
Hey, by the way, did you hear Adrian Peterson is broke?
Oh, but really?
Yeah, seriously.
Well, I mean,
remember to hear first.
Yeah,
Craziness. Breaking news on the Attack the Rack podcast. Adrian Peterson broke, but as we know, I mean, what's the stat? Like 75% of NFL players 3 years after they retire are broke.
That is true. Hey, Luther Ellis.
Yeah, there you go.
Man, there were some greats. There have been some greats that have played for the Honolulu Blue.
Johnny Morton.
Hey, Jason Hanson.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we brought him up earlier.
Yeah. Eddie
How
Murray.
did we leave that out? Yeah, Steady Eddie. That was way before my time. That was my dad.
Two of the best kickers in NFL history have come through the Lions. Come on.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy.
That's a good old timer one. I like that, Miles.
All right. Well, hey, Miles, one thing too, and I know I gave you a heads up on this so you could prepare for this, but you got to send us out here with a Coach Klingler story.
Oh, jeez.
I've got so many. This is my favorite question.
This is one thing I would love to do is start bringing back some of the old players on the podcast here and let them give a Coach Klingler story.
Can I leave?
No, you have to sit through this. This is good. No, there's so many. I'm not sure how many I can tell on here, but
yeah, seriously.
I'm just kidding. No, one of my favorite ones, this is from like a real coaching perspective too. When you're 18, 17 years old, junior, senior in high school, you really don't process it this way. Like I was just like, I'm a good hoops player. This is how it goes. So I'm playing for Mike Van Hecken, the other Coach Van Hecken. JV year, I was doing a lot more baseball at that point, so I wasn't totally into hoops mode. My hair was way too long. I was in my prime. And we had this game against East Kentwood. I hit like 6 threes. So I had like 20.
I remember that.
And I was just on fire. I couldn't miss. And I like walked to school the next day and I was just like untouchable. Everyone's talking to me. I was on the morning announcements. I'm like, oh. And so here's what happened. So like the next day was probably like Friday or something. Anyway, I know the varsity team had a game that Friday. And Coach Klingler, you pulled me into your office, and I'm like, this is it. This is my time. I'm going to be a starter for the next 2 years. I'm going D1. You know, I was untouchable. I hit all these threes. You pull me into your office, and you have the huddle pulled up. So you got all the film. And I'm like, this is my moment where he's like, you had marquee points for every shot I hit. All 23 points accounted for. And he started walking me through them, and you're like, I think I'm about to get my flowers, right? And you're like, so what do you do on this first play? Like, and it's just me, you know, Zach Cooper bringing the ball up the floor. They hit me on the wing. I just chuck a three and I hit it. But like, I've never seen a shot I don't like, right? And like, I just love pulling threes. And so we go through this film and coach, it was funny because you were just making more of a coachable point of you're like, I know it felt good. You were like, I know it felt good. You were hitting the shots were falling. But he's like, as you watch this, what do you do to get you or other teammates open? And as he goes through every three I hit, every single one is just 30 feet, just pulling, just hucking the thing. And It was funny because I remember that. You made a good point. You're like, you're not setting screens, you're not running around, but they were falling that day, and that's something.
Oh man, I'm not sure if that's good or bad coaching. I'm going to be honest.
It's I think it's good. I think it's good. I think
Uh,
I just remember that specifically because I felt so good. My teammates were so high on that, and then you pulling me into your eye. It's like, oh, I was probably
that,
walking with Zach. He's like, oh, he's going into Kling's office. Like this is good. He knows. He knows. And then I just basically got ripped for not.
and then bam, and then bam. Hold the
That's
chair right
reality.
out under your. Miles was like, hold the chair, boom.
Yeah. So then next game, I was probably just running around setting fake screens to look good.
And I was probably pleased, man. I was definitely probably pleased if I didn't tell you.
No, I love it. I have a million stories like that too, just like good times and obviously all the bowling parties we did, pizza parties we did, and you and I always, when I'd see you in the hallway by your classroom on my way to lunch, we'd always talk sports and just, it's all good, man.
Yeah, yeah. You were, if you've watched a little bit of the show, we joke about my memories sometimes because I forget what I did 10 minutes ago. But I was thinking about today. I was like, Miles is one of those guys. Like, you always kept a positive attitude. Like, at least to my face. You're probably maybe cursing me under your breath a little bit here and there, but like for the most part, you always brought a positive energy. And again, as a high school coach and high school player and that type of situation, you're always just trying to, you want to enjoy it, you want to have fun, and we hope to make a difference. And again, it's amazing to like watch, you just watch your progression, from a 16, 17-year-old to do what you're doing now, chasing what you want. It's amazing. And
Yeah.
As a coach, a teacher, it makes our day. So appreciate that part of it.
Yeah, I appreciate that from you, Coach, too. I wanted to just hit on one thing about that too, because that's not just me. This is not me just talking about myself here. This is just, I think it's important that you guys get those reminders, both you guys, Coach Stiegel, Coach Cook, whoever it might be, even Coach Clark when I was really young, he was still coaching baseball. Like when you're that age, you just think the world is sports and you got high school girlfriends and just whatever it is, what it is. But in the grand scheme, you don't know it at that age, but you guys as coaches do, and it's like you were trying to put us on a right path to be good young men and good people. And I think, looking back on that, it's kind of cool, like a coming of age moment when I get to like talk to you guys or, when I still say Mrs. and Mr. Van Hecken and the Kleinhexels came down here just to be able to talk to them as adults and just like it just makes more sense and you just get it and you think back on these old memories and it's like it all works out. So I just hope you guys that too. Coach, you were always doing the dribbling drills with us, Coach Van Hecken. We were always, pound them. You do the warm up with us and everything. That reminded me, I had one other short story, just real quick.
Yeah. Keep them
Coach,
coming.
I don't remember the specific, like, complete detail, but we were doing some drill. And Coach Klingler, you're kind of hopping in. You would play pickup with us and stuff. And we're doing this drill, and we're all, like, lining up for it one at a time. And I was wearing these Kobe 9s that were, like, they came up to your, like, mid-calf, like, mid-shin. I thought they were cool, but the traction was terrible. And, at this point, at this stage in the game, too, I was just trying to look cool. I think I was a junior. And so we're running around doing this drill, and it's my time to go. And it's like kind of like starts off like a suicide, like you're touching the line, and then coach will dish you the ball, and then you try to like go finish, and you'd smack us with those big things,
little pads or something like that.
Yeah, I'm ready to get like the contact because we're all practicing finishing through contact, and I'm ready to get the contact. And before I can even get that far, I like tripped over my own feet, landed on the ball, and then like the whole gym just went silent. And I just like got up and finished. Like I'm just trying to like hustle, right? Just get some grind points. And we all had a good laugh about that. Like I remember that so well. That was Coach, you, me, Zach, Cooper, Jaden, Corey, TJ, Landon, just all our hoops guys. And they're like, dude, this guy just fell down and just got up like it was nothing. But it hurt. I'm not gonna lie, it hurt.
Oh, that's great. I love it. I love it. Again, Miles, thank you so much for spending some time with us. Hey, one thing I've noticed too is like again, watching from afar, just kind of keeping tabs via social media, how much love and support that you have on your social media, people support you. Why don't you let us know before we go here where people can find you on social media? They can follow where you're playing, when you release new music, YouTube stuff. Where can people find you online?
Yeah, so Spotify, Apple Music, and YouTube, that's all just gonna be my name, Miles, and then Bally, Balley, like Valley with a B. Instagram and Facebook, TikTok, some of those handles, those you have to have an underscore in there, so it's just Miles_Bally for all those, and that's where you can kind of find me and keep up to date with the whole dream chasing thing that we're doing.
Awesome. Awesome, man. Well, hey, thanks a lot, and good luck with heading to Phoenix tomorrow and playing those shows, and then it should be a great time next Friday night coming back home, playing at homecoming.
Yeah, I'll see you guys in a week. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
All right, sounds good.
Awesome.